Okay, so just talking about institutional intent and what does that look like? You guys have heard me talk about value stacking. Everyone know what value stacking is? Okay. Let me briefly visit that real quick. So it looks like we might be turning here. So we'll see what happens on that. So value stacking, just a real quick lesson, is going to be talking about a contraction point, and that's going to have the value coming out, and we'll have the expansion come out. It'll go up, and then we'll get to a point here, and that'll have value come out, and then it'll come out like that. Then again, have another contraction point and a value coming out of that, and then off and on. This is value stacking, where you get one up to here, that one goes up to here. Okay, that, because these are each cycles right here, this right here is a whole market maker cycle of accumulation going into distribution. Accumulation, then we have the expansion phase, distribution up. So we're seeing this happen. This is showing institutional intent, and you can also see it through just the boxes themselves. You'll see all this noisy price action, but it's not changing the simple fact that's going from here up, just like that. That is the truth behind the noise. Does that make sense? The way that you guys are going to know that it's holding, we talk about like the separation of the candle. What does that look like? Well, in candle form, it's going to look something along the lines of these candles are all grouped together. You see these, the ranges are overlapping. Now, when we see this group right here, I look at that when you're navigating a range, I see these all as the same. They're individual candles, but they're all the same too. They're all just kind of glued together because of the overlapping ranges. So we see that. What we want to see when this candle right here had this strong move away from that candle, that's one thing I'm looking at. But also in this group of candles, what we want to see is we want to look at the individual candles, and there is separation now. When this candle closed right here, that one, we see separation right here, this space, from this candle that was in this grouping to the close of this candle right here. So that separation right there shows us that we could be leaving this candle range. Does everyone see that? That makes sense? So you can look at that as we're coming out of the groups of candles to show us, okay, what's likely happening. So this is a way to start seeing if the directional bias is really taking off. You can see that group of candles, all these are glued together. Their ranges are overlapping, starting from this one. And now we can start seeing we had this one small candle here, and we're starting to see that separation. Now this one right here is still part of this one, but that shows us, okay, we're leaving this range because there's that singular candle in the range that we're now getting the separation from. And then the same thing inside of that action, what we would see happening there, what we would likely see on your lower time frame, you'd be seeing a lot of boxes, you'd be seeing a lot of master pattern cycles. We're getting close to that 100% projection there. You'd be seeing a lot of these things. So what would that look like? You know, it'd be kind of crazy here, and then eventually we would move up, and then we would see this, a new box like that, and then we would start to see this hold up above like that, and we would see clear separation from the swing high point to up to here. So the cycles themselves, the expansion, are now separated. So that's what we want to see, is we want to see in the distribution, when this goes up, we want to see the cycle, we want to see separation from those cycles, and we want to see that it's holding its ground at a new level. And this shows us that there's institutional intent. Now, the opposite of that, we would see our value line happen here. We would see an expansion. We would see a box here. And then this box, next thing you know, has an expansion leg like this. And now you could see that the expansion phase on this box is heavily overlapping the previous box. Does that make sense to everyone? So this right here, if you look at these as opens of candles themselves, like the actual start of the box, like you look at that, that's the opening of a candle. And this is the activity here. Yeah, the candles are opening higher, but there's a lot of overlap. So there's still anything could happen here. Whereas it's very much different when you get clean action, where you get a box, an expansion to a clearly higher box, an expansion, back. That is much cleaner than something like this. But even still, like the fact that these are still stacking upward, there is still institutional momentum going up, and that could be a clue. But it's going to be potentially much more wild on the expansion legs when you have a significant amount of overlap with the prior cycle. But this shows strong institutional intent. When we see clear separation, we could see like the last swing high that went to a swing low from here to here. I can see clear separation between these swing low and swing high points right here. I could see that clear separation right there.